like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast show. Link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who could bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. GTV Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have yourself to blame, y'all. Cricket TV and a weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop until you get your mouth on LDBC. We are the underground outfit, y'all. We built this whole thing by ourselves, no in y'all. Independence start with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yup, we got that merch for the ladies, and yes, we even got that merch for the babies, and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
Shout out to the sister Janine Womack for the $350 donation to the Cash App. I wanted to start off this video by shouting you out and saluting you, my sister. Much love to you. I appreciate you. I thank you. No introduction gonna be for this video. I just want to say that first, just to show that sister some love, and I appreciate that. You ain't had to do that. And everybody else that be supporting my channel, man, going out the way to send donations and stuff to the Cash App, PayPal, whatever, Super Chat, whatever y'all do, man. I appreciate all y'all. But press 1 if y'all can hear me. I have some breaking news for you guys coming out right now in this situation. If y'all can hear me, let me know, man. Can y'all hear me in the comments? Let me get a mic check real quick. I'm finna let y'all know what just happened. Okay, man, y'all can hear me? All right, let's get to this, man. It seems like they're going to put Diddy in a situation to where he's going to probably, they're going to probably try to entice him to roll on some people. And the reason why I say that is because the judge just made a ruling against P. Diddy that is a major ruling, which is probably going to destroy his entire case. Now, Diddy, from what everybody understands, was trying to get his he was trying to get that evidence. He was trying to have Diddy's lawyers were trying to accuse the government, the feds, of leaking that Cassie tape to the media. Now, Diddy's lawyers, without any evidence, and I told you guys this, but people still ran with it and was like, oh, man, they you know what I'm saying? They're leaking evidence. Man, they ain't had no evidence of that. You don't know how many people had that tape. By the time they made copies of that tape, y'all don't know how many people had copies of that tape. But that was a big thing, and that was a big part of the case. And Diddy's lawyers wanted to get that removed from the case, because if you could remove that videotape from the case, man, that would have been very damaging for the prosecution to not be able to have that videotape. So Diddy's lawyers had requested that the judge look into this situation and make a ruling, because they wanted to get that tape thrown out, period. Man, I have some breaking news for y'all. The judge just ruled on this situation, and the judge rejected Diddy's claims. And not only did he reject his claims, he says he ain't even going to hear about it. He said ain't no evidence. He said after he's done this, I'm going to read this to you guys right here, what the judge just ruled against P. Diddy, which is going to be devastating, because now, more than likely, that video now is definitely going to be used against him in court. Hold on, y'all. I had to drink some Gatorade. You know, they get mad if I got an Altoid in my mouth. They get mad if I drink some drink during the stream like I'm supposed to be some type of robot. You know what I'm saying? They get mad at your intro. They get mad at everything I do. I don't give a damn. I'm going to do what I do. I told y'all, man, listen, bro. I'm not trying to be corporate. I'm trying to be me. And if you don't like that, hey, do what you do. But guess what? I'm going to ask you a question, hater. Can you get this many people listening to you doing it your way? Because you the one that got to go put on a suit every day. You the one that got to go tell boss man, hey, you like your coffee with sugar or cream. You the one that got to go fetch donuts every morning and talk all night to your boss and change your voice. And then when you get home, you out here snapping on your spouse all day long because you can't do it to your boss. The stuff you want to say to your boss, you go home and say to your spouse, you weak ass Like, hold on, man. Let me get back on topic, man, before I really cook these. I go deep fry on these Negroes, man. Hold on. So back to what I said, right? P. Diddy, and by the way, on another note, right now, Jay-Z's lawyers asked for that case to be thrown out, that lawsuit. Still no word on that. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of making me kind of nervous a little bit that the judge hasn't immediately ruled on that today, because that, I mean, obviously, if Jay-Z really had a point, that would have been, that should have been, could have been, would have been thrown out immediately. You understand what I'm saying? But let me say this. Back to this Diddy situation. Diddy's situation just got grave because the judge just ruled against Diddy and this whole tape thing where they tried to accuse the government of leaking the tape. The judge says not only do they have evidence, that he does not see any evidence that the government leaked the tape, he said he's rejecting Diddy's and his entire team's motion to even have a hearing about this. So now Diddy just lost this big part of his case. And let me say it right here. It says Judge Aaron Samranian, United States District Judge, defendant Sean Combs, moves for discovery and an evidentiary hearing on alleged government leaks of case information document 30 for the following reasons. The motion, and he put in all caps, look at this shit. The motion is denied. It says Combs alleges that the government, primarily through the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, has engaged in a 7-month campaign involving strategic leaks. Now, remember I told y'all this? That Diddy's lawyers was out here running them up, making up shit, just saying that, oh, they doing this, they doing that, with no evidence. These fools ain't had no evidence. They went to court. Remember, everybody was like, oh, yeah, man, they made them destroy the notes. Man, know your role and shut your mouth when the great one is talking. And I am the great one. You better believe that shit. I am the final boss around here. I'm the great one around this mofo. Like I told y'all before, man. Hey, man, get down or lay down. You understand what I'm saying? Because I run shit around here right now. So, as I said before, the judge went and he knocked that down in court because he told Diddy's lawyers, hey, hold on. The prosecution outsmarted y'all already. They didn't confiscate the papers. They took photos of your files that did not have anything written on them. And when the judge seen that, he said, hey, hold on. How in the hell did you present me files that had legal written on them in court? But when the government took these photos of those same files, they didn't have anything written on them. Your lawyer needs to explain that in court. And Diddy's lawyer went right into court. And he says, oh, well, I don't know when it was written. What you mean you don't know? You sat up there and accused them of taking a man's legal notes. But then when you get to court, you don't know. Man, get the hell out of here. The judge seen right through that, and that's why he rejected his bail. We're going to tell the truth on this whole situation, right? We're going to tell the truth. We're going to keep it 100, or we just going to keep lying and capping. You understand what I'm saying? Because niggas want to be in the presence of millionaires. Like I said before, I don't give a damn about none of this shit. You understand? I care about what's right and what's wrong in this situation because you're talking about a variety of different people. And like I said, I seen that tape when that man beat the hell out of Cassie like that. You understand what I'm saying? And see, a lot of these niggas just talking crazy, but if you had a sister that got her ass whooped like that, nigga, how would you feel, nigga? So I'm just going to leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Now, back to what I was saying. It says Combs, and this is the second paragraph. Y'all can read along. That's if some of these people can read, because y'all know a lot of y'all are intelligent, but some of these people come in here, they can't read, won't read, and don't want to read. So they come telling you all kind of shit when they ain't even read the paperwork. But you know what? A Negro like me, I read the fine print, baby. So you can't just tell me anything because I read the fine print. I take time to do my homework. I'm checking my list, and I'm checking that son of a bitch twice. Now it says that Combs alleges that the government, primarily through the Department of Homeland Security, has engaged in a 7-month campaign involving strategic leaks of grand jury material. Document 31 at 1. Right now, the motion seeks discovery and an evidentiary hearing related to the alleged leaks. Although Combs forecasts that he may ultimately ask for suppression. Remember I told y'all? So I told y'all Diddy's lawyers wanted that videotape removed from evidence because they were trying to say that the government was trying to basically bias a jury pool by releasing these leaks and tapes to the media. The problem is the judge said they ain't got no evidence of that shit, and there was an investigation. They didn't bring any evidence to prove those claims. They just talking. So the judge denied this shit. And I'm finna tell y'all right now how it went down. And this is gonna be major because now, with this situation with P. Diddy and his court date, now this videotape is more than likely 100% gonna be used in court. And that's gonna be used under the racketeering part, where they said that Diddy was whipping people asses, using force, using kidnapping, and all that stuff. Forget about the prostitution count. Forget about the sex trafficking count. The racketeering count, where they allege all those things that you were seeing in that video with Cassie. That is why that video was so important to them. Because if they could get that video removed, they don't know how much more the government has to prove that Diddy was out here beating the hell out of people outside of witnesses. But that video was major because they saw the impact that video made on the entire media. Dudes who was cooking Cassie and saying that she was out here clout chasing and a capping. They had to turn around and apologize once that videotape came out, because they didn't know that Diddy was walking around with a demon inside of him like that would beat the hell out that girl like that and stump a mud hole on her ass and walk that SOB dry. But guess what? Every dog has his day. Now let's get back to it. It says, while Combs identifies numerous alleged leaks, the heart of his dispute with the government is a 2016 video from the International Hotel in Los Angeles that Combs alleges was leaked by the government and broadcast on CNN. It says Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E states that a matter occurring before the grand jury must not be disclosed by any attorney for the government or any government personnel that an attorney for the government considers necessary to assist in performing the attorney's duty to enforce federal criminal law. Now, let me explain that right there for the people who slow or don't understand English. You understand what I'm saying? Because you don't understand English. I can tell you in French, oui, oui. I can tell you in Spanish, como tú sabes, como tú quieres saber. Entiendes eso? Hey, man, I can make this shit Telemundo TV if you want. I don't give a damn. I can say that shit in Arabic to all my Arabic people. You know, shukram. Y'all know what it is. Like I said before, this is basically saying that Diddy's lawyers were saying the government leaked this videotape beforehand to bias the entire media, mainstream media, right? On how they were going to feel about this whole situation. Now, if that was true, that videotape would have automatically been thrown out. Diddy's lawyers would have had a case, and that whole tape would have been thrown out, and this case against Diddy would have probably been broken down to crumbles because, you know what I'm saying, that tape was very important. But the government, but Diddy's lawyers made these allegations, and now the judge is saying, from what he sees, they ain't got no proof. They have not showed any proof that the government leaked these videos. And here's another thing that you have to think about. Another thing is this. Bro, how many copies of that tape y'all think it was? Think about this, y'all. If Diddy, the government is alleging that Diddy paid the camera guy at the hotel 100 racks. He's alleging that he paid him 100 racks to get rid of the videos. What he's alleging, right? That he paid him 100 bands, something around there, to get rid of that video, right? How he don't know the man made a copy of the video. And that's exactly what happened. Because that's how Cassie got her hands on that video. That man made a copy. That man made copies of the video, and Diddy thought that they destroyed that video. They didn't have the only video. So now think about this, y'all. When one copy of that video gets out, how many more copies do y'all think got out? And then you probably had somebody sitting back in the cut that just don't like Diddy anyways, that was sitting on that videotape for a long time and said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna make this shit bubble. Boop! Drop that. Let me get that tape to CNN. I'm going to sell the tape to CNN, get some bread, and then I'm going to destroy this dude. So Diddy, he has a look. If I'm Diddy, I'm looking at my enemies and people who could have had that actual access to get a copy of that tape. Not the government, but Diddy's lawyers had to say the government because that's the only way they can get that tape thrown out of court, because they know that tape is damning. That tape is damning. And then when Diddy's lawyer said, oh, well, that it was a 20-minute version of the tape, remember, they gave the judge a 20-minute full version of the tape in the last bail hearing. And the judge says he watched the tape and didn't even change his mind. He says, no, denied. Y'all try to say this tape was edited. The only thing they did is blur out the girl's face so they didn't see the girl getting the hell beat out of her. That's the only thing they edited. You talking about is a 20-minute full tape to show the context. Ain't no context for you whooping on her ass like that. That's what the judge said in his ruling, why he denied Diddy bail. So now you guys saw the other day Diddy has quit on bail. He don't even want bail no more. This dude may never get out of prison ever again. Now you're fighting it. So now this is my thoughts before I finish reading this letter right here. My thoughts is they're going to try to put the squeeze on Diddy and see if he's going to come up with some names. That's my thoughts on the situation. And I think that Diddy's going to think about this because I want y'all to know one thing. If Diddy goes to trial, they're going to hit him with the whole slab. He's going to prison forever. They're going to hit him with life. Just off this, they're going to hit him with life. So if he, think about this, y'all. If he do this, they're going to hit him with life, bro. Just off this. Life. Because of the fact that you fought it. When you fight it and you don't take a plea, man, they hit you with the whole meal most of the time. Most of the time when you go to court and you lose in court, instead of you taking that plea, they're going to hit you with the whole meal. So Diddy knows he's up against it. So we're going to see how that plays out. But it goes on, y'all. It says, and I quote right here, ladies and gentlemen, it says that to obtain an evidentiary hearing on an alleged breach of this rule, the defendant, meaning P. Diddy, must establish a prima facie case for a violation. United States versus Royce, right? 1996 Second Circuit Court. It says, in determining whether the required showing has been made, the court should examine, among other factors, number one, whether the media reports disclosed matters occurring before the grand jury. Number two, whether the media report discloses the source as one prohibited under Rule 6E. And number three, evidence presented by the government to rebut allegations of a violation of 6E. Now, it goes on to say that Diddy must make a prima facie showing that one, there has been a disclosure of a matter of matters occurring before the grand jury, and two, that the source of the disclosure was an attorney agent of the government. This requires that a relatively lighter showing when, right? This requires a relatively lighter showing when the primary relief sought is an evidentiary hearing, not dismissal of the indictment. It says, as to searches of Diddy's homes, he argues that the presence of media made on the scene made it clear that Department of Homeland Security alerted the media prior to the search in order to maximize its exposure. But of course, the searches, which were executed pursuant to warrants, were not themselves matters occurring before the grand jury. Combs provides no basis to suggest that there has been a violation of Rule 6E here. We're on page 2, right here, right? Now, it goes on to say Rule 6E is not violated by disclosure of a search warrant affidavit, even if that information might later be presented to the grand jury, where it was obtained independently from the grand jury and did not disclose matters occurring before the grand jury. It goes on to say information produced by a criminal investigation that parallels but is independent of a grand jury investigation is not subject to Rule 6E provisions on disclosure. As to the Intercontinental Hotel video, the video with Cassie is going again, y'all. It says that Combs, we in the second paragraph for y'all who reading with me. It says Combs, right? Combs has not carried his burden to show that the government leaked it to CNN. So they're saying that Diddy had no evidence. They showed no evidence that the government leaked it to CNN. So they just said it. They just said, hey, man, the government out here leaking evidence. Okay, where's the evidence at? Where's your evidence that the government's leaking this? Show us the evidence. Hey, listen, the judge is like, look, we'll throw this shit out right now. If you show us the evidence, we'll throw that tape out. We'll have the hearing and we'll throw that tape out. The judge said Diddy ain't had no evidence. He said Diddy ain't present no evidence. He says Combs argues that the most likely source of the leak is the government, but he doesn't point to any sound basis for this conclusion. Document 30 at 8. It says Combs lists 4 reasons for accusing the government, none of which is convincing. First, he argues that the federal agents had already engaged in a months-long campaign of leaking information to the press by May 2024, when the CNN video was leaked, and so they had a demonstrated propensity to make such leaks. Second, he says that victim 1, who was Cassie, is not likely a source of the leak because there is no evidence she had access to the tape, and she had no motive to approach law enforcement after receiving a substantial 8-figure settlement from Combs in another case. Third, so let me break that down to y'all. Diddy's lawyers told the judge. This is what Diddy's lawyers told the judge. Diddy's lawyers told the judge, nah, we don't even think Cassie did it. We don't think she did it because we paid her 8 figures in the settlement. So we don't even think. Diddy's lawyers told this to the judge. You can't make this shit up. Excuse my French. You can't make this up. Diddy's lawyers told the judge they don't believe that Cassie leaked the tape to CNN because they paid her off. Right here in the paperwork. So they marked Cassie off the list themselves. Right? It's right there on your screen. It's right there on your screen. Right there on your screen. I'm going to read it again. It says, victim 1, who is Cassie, is not a likely source of the leak. Right? It says, second, Diddy says. He says that victim 1 Cassie is not a likely source of the leak because there is no evidence that she had access to the tape. Victim 1, Cassie, right? Think about this, y'all. It says, and she had no motive to approach law enforcement after receiving a substantial 8-figure settlement from Combs in another case. It says, also, third, Combs surmises that an unrelated third party is not a likely source either. This nigga Diddy X'd out all the other possibilities. They put all their eggs in one basket without no proof. So Diddy's lawyers told the judge, we don't think it's Cassie and we don't think it's nobody else. We only think that it's the government that did it. So the judge says, bring me proof, and Diddy's lawyers ain't got no proof. So you X'd out everybody else. And you told the judge, it ain't no third party. It ain't Cassie. It's the government. Okay, show me the proof. Ain't no proof. What? Man, get the hell out of court. It says, now read this here, right? It says, third, Combs surmises that an unrelated third party is not a likely source because such an individual would have sold the video, sold it, instead of simply giving it to CNN. To Combs, the leak showed a motive other than financial profit. So Diddy's saying, man, CNN was giving that video for free. They wouldn't even leak it. Didn't I tell y'all somebody had a vendetta against Diddy? But he's saying that they didn't even sell the video to CNN. He's saying nobody else sold it. He said that it was leaked to damage him, and that's it. It says to damage Mr. Combs' reputation without remuneration. And finally, Diddy Combs suggests that the timing of the leak points to a government source because federal agents who would have known that May 17th was a perfect time due to the break in the Trump trial for Barron Trump's high school graduation. So Diddy's saying that, oh yeah, the government did it because it would have been a great time because, you know, the Trump trial had a break. His son had high school graduation. Now it says in response, the government insists that it was not in possession of the video when it was aired on CNN, and that the video wasn't procured through the grand jury process. Document 53 at 12. Department of Homeland Security agents are also unable to issue grand jury subpoenas on their own. The government says that it obtained a copy of the video at the same damn time, I'm going to say damn, as everyone else when CNN released it. The government rightly points out that Combs never considers the possibility that many people beyond Cassie and the government agents likely had access to the video, including Combs' team, who paid security officers at the International Hotel $100,000 in cash to destroy the video. So Diddy didn't go get the video. They said Diddy told his team, go pay him 100 racks to destroy it. Are you out your damn mind? Man, listen, let me tell you something. If I'm paying somebody 100 racks to destroy a video, man, I'm going down in my damn self. I'm going to the goddamn video room myself. You gonna send a team to pay this dude 100 racks to say, yeah, destroy the video. Are you crazy? By the time that video got out, man, they probably bought about 3 or 4 copies of that video. Said, yeah, we're gonna destroy it. Man, Lord have mercy, man. It says in the hotel employees and contractors, it says an ex parte submission by the government, which the court considers after in-camera review, right? It says where an in-camera submission is the only way to resolve an issue without compromising a legit need to preserve the secrecy of the grand jury, it is an appropriate procedure. Presents compelling evidence that CNN's source was not in fact the government. Let me repeat this again. They presented evidence that the source that gave the tape to the CNN wasn't the government. So apparently, the Fed found evidence of who gave CNN that tape. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, this shit getting ready to get diabolical. I told y'all this is going to get real ugly around here. It's going to get funky around here. They're going to say, what's that smell? That'll never get well. Y'all already know. It goes on to say that, right, it is an appropriate procedure, right? It says, right, and importantly, nothing in CNN's presentation of the video even hinted that the source was a government agent. As to the interviews and quotes attributed to law enforcement agents, none discloses matters occurring before the grand jury. Combs doesn't identify a single article with government sources disclosing grand jury materials, right? I want y'all to see this. Despite telling the court that several of the leaks explicitly mention grand jury proceedings in the grand jury's ongoing investigation, document 64, number 7. It says Combs argues that matters occurring before the grand jury, right? We're on the next page right now. Let me get y'all to the next page, top of the next page. Before the grand jury should be construed broadly to include in addition to evidence actually presented to that body. Also, anything that may tend to reveal what transpired before it, such as summaries of grand jury testimony, right? But again, no such information is attributed to law enforcement or government sources in articles. Instead, the articles discuss the searches of Combs' homes, what was found inside, previous allegations against Diddy, the charges against him, and the government's future investigatory plans, right? All of this is a part of the ongoing prosecution, not necessarily the grand jury investigation, and can be gleaned without running afoul of rule, right? It says from the indictment, official statements about the investigation, statements in open court, and search warrants, the Second Circuit has been clear that information about a criminal investigation is not covered by Rule 6E, right? It says, finding no prima facie showing when the news articles discuss federal investigations without actually discussing matters before the grand jury. It says there's a difference between statements by a prosecutor's office with respect to its own investigation and statements by a prosecutor's office with respect to a grand jury's investigation. It says a distinction of the utmost significance. It goes on, in cases where the federal courts have found violations of Rule 6E, the violations were closely linked to improper disclosure of the inner workings of the grand jury, not simply information about some aspect of a related government investigation. Just as in Adams, the articles here reference investigations generally, but they do not identify these investigations as grand jury investigations or investigations into matters before the grand jury, specifically Adams 2024 WL 4702754 at number, or I should say, star 4. It says, and none of the articles expressly or by implication identifies the source of the alleged disclosure as prescribed under Rule 6E. Not all law enforcement agents or government employees are subject to Rule 6E. Only government attorneys or agents with whom grand jury information has been shared are subject to the secrecy requirement. As the government points out, none of the cited articles indicate on their face that any leaked information came from the prosecutors and agents conducting the investigation who had access to grand jury material, right? And it goes on. It's 1.5 more pages of this. It says merely identified a government source or a law enforcement sources, not government investigators, subject to Rule 6 did not evidence a violation. It says, similarly, here no articles states that its source is a prosecutor or an agent with access to grand jury material. The articles that come closest are those that cite Department of Homeland Security's agents who helped the raid at Combs' home in Miami. But even if true, though only those DHS agents given access to grand jury materials are covered by Rule 6, and there is no evidence that DHS agents cited as sources were among those with access. And nothing in what those agents supposedly told media outlets is clearly from relating to a grand jury proceeding. For example, the claim that there were rooms at Combs' house solely dedicated to sex, with cameras planted all around, could have come from the agent's execution of the search warrant, and the statement that, in my opinion, he's as bad as Jeffrey Epstein is an opinion presented as such held by the alleged agent that doesn't reveal any particular information from the grand jury proceedings, right? It goes on to say the analysis includes the 2 New York Post articles highlighted in Combs' reply, one published before, but on the same day as the court's October 25th, 2024 order, document 49/1, and the other less than a week later, document 57 and 4, see document 64. Hold on, who this nigga right here? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. What up, baby? I ain't know what you was doing. I seen you in the camera. That's why. All right. My bad, y'all. I seen somebody on that security camera. I had to pop up real quick. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, anyway, let me get back. It says the government also submitted an affidavit from Jane Kim, SDNY's Deputy Chief of Criminal Division, stating that after she discussed the matter with the prosecutors and agents assigned to the investigation, that they each affirm that they have not disclosed information they learned during the course of the investigation to any member of the press. Such as affidavits are frequently considered by the courts and this district when assessing whether there's been a rule violation of Rule 6E. The last page says, the court is sensitive to Diddy's concerns about publication of stories claiming to disclose inside information about this case from unnamed federal law enforcement sources who are involved in the investigation. Document 49 and 1. It says the court has already taken steps in this regard. See document 50, and it is open to tailored applications for relief as this case continues. The court once again reminds the government and its agents that if specific information comes to light showing that they leaked prohibited information, action will be taken. And the court reminds the public that whether the government can prove Combs' guilt in this case will turn on the evidence presented at trial, not in a trial by newspapers, right? It says that cases are too often tried in the newspapers before they're tried in the court. And the cast of characters in the newspaper trial often differs greatly from the real persons who appear at the trial in court, who may have to suffer its distorted consequences. The clerk of court is directed to terminate document 30, so ordered, Judge Aaron Subramaniam. And this is why this is bad for Diddy, because he picked this judge. They appealed up and picked this judge. It's the judge they asked. They when they went and appealed from the other two judges, they got those other two judges. This is the judge they wanted. So everybody thought Diddy was gonna win, and now these losses are racking up through the roof. And now this is gonna be a bad situation. Shout out to Belinda with a donation. I see you. Shout out to Monica Smith with the donation. I see you, baby. Salute to you. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. You know. Appreciate you as well. Salute to you, man. Much love to you. Y'all know what it is. Yeah. So basically, and the final notice to everybody that's watching this video is pretty much, you know, a bad situation. Diddy's case is basically that they wanted to get that videotape struck out. Judge said, nope, I don't even want to hear about it. Y'all ain't even got no proof. So now Diddy's lawyers are in a bind because Diddy's lawyers have to figure out a way to get this thing right, man. His lawyers got to figure out a way now to go to court and fight this case, with that video being a part of that case, and that video being a big part of that case. And they know it, which is why they did not want that video presented in court. They did not want that video presented in court, y'all. And so that is the situation, you guys, that's going on right now. They did not want that video presented in court. And so, yeah, man, it's a bad situation, bro. That's going on. So you guys definitely let me know what y'all think about this. And I need to know what y'all feeling about this situation right here, man. As this thing has gotten diabolical, y'all. This entire Diddy case, this entire Diddy situation has gotten diabolical, you guys. And so, yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Appreciate all y'all that's in this video, man. Like, share, subscribe. So the judge has denied and rejected Diddy's lawyers and said that they have no evidence that the prosecution leaked that Cassie tape to the media. And Diddy's lawyers wanted bad to get that tape removed. And I'm going to tell y'all something. If Diddy's lawyers would have got that tape removed, that would have hurt that case a whole lot. I'm trying to tell y'all this. That tape would have, them getting that tape removed would have hurt that tape a whole lot, because a jury would have had to go in there, you understand what I'm saying, without having that tape to be able to use against this dude. And so then you would have had to, they would have probably still got a conviction, but not the conviction they wanted. You know what I'm saying? They'd have probably had to get a lesser charge or something on some of these some of these acts because you would have had witnesses and things like that. And I don't know what other evidence they got. They said they had another tape as well, but we're going to see in court. They said they got more tapes, allegedly, but we're going to see in court. But this tape was the big tape because this surrounds Cassie, who's victim one, in the entire indictment. So that tape with Cassie getting beat on it, that tape shows a lot of things. That tape shows kidnapping. That tape shows beating because it's kidnapping because when a person's trying to escape, you understand what I'm saying? And you hold them against their will, that's kidnapping. And then you're showing that you use force to kidnap them with. That was all under the racketeering. The racketeering that's a huge charge, bro. So y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Judge just came down with the ruling. Like, share, subscribe. Appreciate all y'all that's tapped in, man. And I'm gone, man.